everybody, guess what? We are on the road to Minnesota. We're coming up on the Minnesota-Iowa border. And for all you people that think that all the hicks live in Iowa, this is the part of state where we keep them. There's the Minnesota Travel Bureau, so we've got to be coming up on the state line here pretty quick. Thought I'd share this with you, but yeah. The hicks don't live down there where we live. We keep them up here in this part of the state.
Exciting, ain't it?
Yeah, it's exciting, ain't it? We just stopped at Mason City, Iowa. And I swear to you guys, there were 2 guys in there that had just come in from coyote hunting. Yeah. You want fun? Jump in the back of a pickup with a drunk guy driving and 4 guys in the back carrying handguns. But we've got some nice Iowa scenery up here. It's pretty up here. I used to live up here, so I can say whatever I want about it. Minnesota rest area, 3/4 of a mile. So here is the state line. Get around this truck so we can see it.
Already doing 75.
There it is. We're officially in Minnesota. We'll see you guys at the mall. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody. We're back. We are in Owatonna, Minnesota, coming up on Cabela's. I'm hoping that this will pick up all of the decorations and things they have outside of the big Cabela's here. Usually they have a bunch of animals sitting around. Yep, there they are. I don't know if you can catch them on tape. The fighting elk. Okay.
Because the stress is reactive with water, right? And I wanted to point out on the craft paper that, especially when this gets wet, when you're doing stains, for example, and it gets incredibly saturated, just understand that it's going to appear darker at this point than what you'll end up in. Okay? Because brown paper, when it gets wet, just turns darker brown. And I just kind of blot off the ink that stays on the resist. If you dry it on there, you could. If you dry it on there, you get little beads like, oh, I wish I was white Christmas Eve. There you go. That's make it nice. Now what's great about this is you're going to see where I added the water, how it turns a real blue color. But I love the stains, and I love the fact that even though I put it on paper, my paper
You and I. We have one at Iowa, one at Iowa State, one at Grandview, and one at Enoch. Wow. I deserve a weekend away. That's definitely a house divided. Oh, look, this
This was a big we had time to experience it. We're safe in this hotel. This one, just the tag is run through, and you can see how deep these are. Alright, let's move on to something else. Let's move on to, say, craft glassine. This is a glassine paper. This is a great paper when it comes to working with embossing folders because when you wrinkle this paper, it breaks through the coating and it shows that texture. So if I wanted to take this and run it through an embossing folder, let's take our wood grain for example. I'll put this through. And I'm trying to cram as much as I can in 45 minutes so that I'm never going to do this. Run my blog. I've got videos on every single thing. You can watch it again and again. Here I've just embossed that wood grain. And you can see that wood grain as it goes through that core, it actually breaks through that coating. So it shows the texture in a lighter shade. So that's really fun when it comes to working with this glassine paper. But on the end of it, can you guys just walk around with some of these samples? So if you guys kind of divide and conquer, they'll be able to see up close and personal. Right? So like you can see. So you can just take a couple. Take a couple. Good luck. Thanks. Okay, so let me show you another good thing. Embossing folders. Some really interesting things about embossing folders, and I say it all the time, I am one of you. I'm a crafter. And yes, I was using embossing folders before I had my own. I don't know the names, but I used embossing folders. One of the things that drove me crazy is when I was making a card, and I wanted to emboss the card, I would take the card, put it in the folder, and after I embossed it, I had this gap between where my card was and where I embossed. All of my texture fades that I did, when you look at the folder itself, if I open it, you will see that one side is wider than the other side. And that is because if you were going to make a card, you would take your card, you would cut it, you would take your card and actually fold it around the back. So the top of your card is here.
How was your shopping the other night?
Did
you have fun?
And now when you lay it down, your embossing goes right up to the end of your card.
Oh,
because the back of the folder is narrow on the top of the folder. So now your embossing goes right up to the end. So that's how we look at it like that. Because if you do a card, and we'll show you this picture, and we'll show you, you just put your card right around. You can only emboss the card, you can do a whole card, and then you get that embossing right to the end. But check this out.
Did you get your credit cards and everything canceled? Yeah.
I'm going to take my embossing folder, I'll put it right here, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to go in with my ink pad, my Distress. And I'm going to ink my embossing folder. And it can
I like
over the
doing
top.
that. This is fun.
Distress is water-based, so it's not permanent, it's not going to damage anything at all. I would take my paper, and I would already have the slit cut in here, so I would do it, but I don't, it's there, so being respectful. So So I'll put that paper in there, close that down. Same thing, 2 cutting pads, doing all your stuff. I'm going to run it through my embossing folder. And what happens is I letterpress that design. So my ink color is down in the recessed areas. Whereas most of the time you would emboss and you like rub your ink pad over the top. But now I can go over with a different color over the top. I can go with my blending tool and maybe do green or yellow or anything, but my shadow is already debossed into that area. That's pretty cool. It's a great thing. And this will just wash right out. Baby wipe.
You haven't tried that yet?
This will wipe right off your folder. It's not
I
going
need to watch this video.
Now, if you wanted to do this thing on plastic, where you can deboss it, you would want to use a permanent ink on here. I would not suggest StazOn because it dries on the folder. So you want to use something like VersaFine or Archival, something that is going to be oil-based, so it'll stay wet long enough to transfer, if that makes sense. Alright, that's one of my favorite things. Okay, let's take a minute and talk about texture paper or colored paper. Oh, before I do that, I'll show you this, because I know that they have a sample. There's a couple of cards I did here. This is one of the Thanksgiving embossing folders, and I think we're doing one of the Christmas ones as well. I got asked when I was demoing this yesterday, like, how did you do this? Did you run it through an embossing folder and like color over the top with markers? No, I actually had stamps that match these embossing folders. So this was a stamp first. So I inked up my rubber stamp from Stampers Anonymous with all these different colors, just using my ink pad, touching it in different areas. I stamped my paper, then I took my stamp paper, put it in the matching embossing folder, and when you emboss it, now all of these words are raised, like each one is a completely different color. So you can do that. It's pretty neat. So let's talk about this. Toy paper is brown on the back, and then it has a color printed over the top of it. And I think that's pretty neat. I like that effect because I love the graphic paper. So I'll just take a sheet out of here, show you what you can do.
Get out the sanding block.
So let's just like my craft tape at home. So it's up to me.
Yeah, mine too.
Alright. Gotta take care of the dots. Always take your stuff out of your die. Because if you don't leave it out, eventually you just shove all that stuff down in there. And then it really will stop cutting. Especially on the little detail areas. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut this paper. So I'm going to get out my paper cutter and carefully cut my paper to size. That's never people do that. They like get out their paper trimmer so they can cut their paper to cut their paper.
Yeah.
Just not cutting it. You know who you are. You like measure it, get out your trimmer and cut it so you can die cut it.
No.
It's alright. So I'm going to do this color slide down. So I really want to show you the trick when it comes to how many of you have worked with coordinations before, that kind of paper? Okay. So you'll get this. This will make a lot of sense, especially if you're doing die cuts, and that's why I chose something like the flourish to show you. So I'm just going to go ahead and die cut this. Now the thing about coordinations in any of those color papers is that the idea behind it is that when you sand it, it shows more color, right? That's the whole idea behind it. So I'm going to die cut this like my flourish. I've got that. I'm going to take it out, lay it on the table. I'm going to lift off my die. And I usually try, if that die was taken care of, it would stay in there. But that's okay. I'm just going to take my pieces and I'm going to leave them in a cardstock. Let it die cut, especially something like this. You can see that. By having it already in there, I'm going to go in with my sandpaper, sanding grip, whatever that is, and I'm going to sand it while it's in the paper. And by sanding it while it's in the paper, you're able to go right around the edges of stuff and reveal that core. I won't do the whole thing, you'll get the idea. And now I've actually sanded right around that flourish to reveal the core, instead of taking something so delicate and trying to do this with it. So if you just remember as you're doing this, if you can sand stuff while it's on the paper, you're good to go. All right. So he says I have like 10 minutes left. You know. So instead of me just continuing to talk blah blah blah, if you guys have any questions about the vagabond, the guy, the phase, you're trying to do this stuff today. Just a question. What else? All right. I'll show you another thing though. Fabric. If you want to use fabric,
Oh, this is
sticky back canvas, ribbon even, like I was telling you, you can take your fabric and put it into your embossing folders. I'll do that in the parts again. And I'm going to put that in through my 2 clear pads. And that's one of really the greatest things about the vagabond. If you have it and you use it, the force, the pressure that this machine has, will emboss things like you couldn't imagine. This is just fabric. No starch, no nothing. And that's going to stay on there, on that fabric. I mean, it's just a piece of fabric. There's no anything on it. And it will actually emboss it that much. So when you go in and you want it to peel up the vacuum, it's still on there, that design. It doesn't go away. So that's kind of the good thing about working with it. All right. Any other questions? Any questions about it? Yes.
What kind of fabric is that?
What kind of fabric?
What was the fabric
It's
made
called
of?
sticky back canvas.
It's a canvas?
Sticky back canvas.
You have sticky back
I like sticky back because it's a piece of fabric, but it's not specially treated fabric. You can just go and use any fabric from the craft store and emboss it. Because it's the pressure that's in here.
Hi everybody, I'm back and we are headed back to Iowa. You can't tell it, but yes, we are going south. It's raining. The weather in Minnesota this weekend was horrible. It was cold. I don't know why they can't have ScrapFest in July when it's actually warm in Minnesota. But we were inside, so it was okay. We should be coming up here on the Iowa line any second here. You can see there's the median. This is what they have for medians in Minnesota. They have hills and trees in the middle. There is another part of the interstate on the other side of that. There, I think you can kind of see it. There you can see the cars. So we should be coming up on the line. I've got Jill on the phone. Say hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Oh, and she is a smart aleck as usual. We've been talking about ScrapFest and all the fun things that we got to do while we were there. And is this the line?
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank God Almighty, I'm back in the state of Iowa. Not a minute too soon.
Thanks for visiting Minnesota.
That was what, yeah, that says, thanks for visiting Minnesota. And the next one says, welcome to civilization. And there's the Iowa sign. Okay, guys, I'll see you when I get home.